India has slammed China for renaming places in the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. The External Affairs Ministry said in a statement, and I quote, China has persisted with its senseless attempts to rename places in the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. We firmly reject such attempts. Assigning invented names will not alter the reality that Arunachal Pradesh is, has been and will always be an integral and inalienable part of India, unquote. India's Earth Sciences Minister Kiren Rijiju took to X to say that India has the sovereign right to develop its border areas and every Indian has an absolute right to visit every part of the country's territory. Minister Rijiju wrote that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has changed the Congress's policy of keeping the nation's border underdeveloped and made the border villages the first villages of the country. Locals from Papumpare district of Arunachal Pradesh have expressed anger over China's claim on their land. They said Arunachal Pradesh has always been a part of India and will continue to remain Indian territory.
China बोल रहा है कि अरुणाचल बोलो का पार्ट है, ऐसा नहीं है। अरुणाचल इंडिया का पार्ट है और हमेशा रहेगा। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
हम जोगी भाई है और चाइना क्लेम कर रहा है कि अरुणाचल चाइना का है, पर ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। अरुणाचल इंडिया का है और इंडिया का ही रहेगा और हम इंडियन है और इंडियन ही रहेंगे।
और चाइना बोल रहे हैं कि अरुणाचल वो लोग का है, बट अरुणाचल हम लोग का ही है, इंडिया का ही, और हम लोग इंडियन ही रहेगा।
And my colleague Jessica Taneja now joins us. Jessica, why is China repeatedly making these claims?
Well, this is not the first time, Ramesh, that China has made such territorial claims. In fact, the issue dates back to when the line of actual control, the boundary that was drawn by around that time, and how it was contested when China refused to acknowledge the boundary that was drawn in 1921. So with that kept in mind, a little bit of a historical context there, but talking about Arunachal Pradesh in particular, the recent 30 places that the Chinese have tried to rename according to their geographical maps, and their officials have released those names, have of course caused another stir at this point, particularly because it's not the first time they've done it, and perhaps remains open to continuing to trouble India with these little sort of changes of names here and there. Well, you heard from the responses from the Ministry of External Affairs. Foreign Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, also made a remark, and I would quote him when he says that if I change the name of your house, will it be mine? He said Arunachal Pradesh is an Indian state and will always remain one in the future. So it has recently invited a lot of remarks from both the sides, but particularly China's continued response or continued stance on how Arunachal Pradesh, as it considers it to be part of South Tibet, it has been disputed by India and so far even backed by the United States of America. You must have heard last two weeks ago, the US spokesperson as well had clarified that US recognizes Arunachal Pradesh as Indian territory and not Chinese.
Also, Jessica, this is not the first time China has sought to rename places in Arunachal Pradesh. How has India been responding to these claims?
Well, so far there has been a lot of border infrastructure development as well. Militarily, there has been a response and increasing of troops along the line of actual control, wherein we've seen the inauguration of the Sela tunnel just earlier this month, Ramesh, in Tawang, which is a crucial point. The last 2020 clashes that took place on the border dispute were in Tawang. Now that elevated tunnel at an altitude of 13,000 feet allows India to forward its forces on the line of actual control, and it's going to give an all-round year connectivity towards the Indian states as of Assam and Guwahati as well. So given the kind of border infrastructure development we have been, the country has been investing in, has been a response. Apart from that, there has been sharp criticism about China's claims over Arunachal Pradesh in the past as well, especially when it claimed that it's part of its southern Tibetan boundary. Of course, also making historical links with the oldest Tibetan monastery in the region in Arunachal
Right.
Pradesh. So of course India has been able to respond to those very sharply, not just
Indeed.
to the Chinese, but also in various multilateral forums and discussions as well.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Jessica, thank you. That was my colleague Jessica Taneja